You ever have one of those moments? You're sitting in a long class or maybe a meeting and you're just furiously taking notes. But then later, you look back and realize almost none of it actually stuck with you. It's so frustrating, right? You put in all that time, but the information just vanishes.
And hey, if you feel that way, you are definitely not alone. This quote right here, it's from a university student who's just trying to get through a 3-hour lecture. It just perfectly sums up that feeling of hitting a mental wall. It's a feeling a lot of us know all too well.
Okay, so let's really get into this. If just sitting there and listening isn't the answer, then what is? In this explainer, we're going to break it all down. The tools, the techniques, and some really surprising science behind what makes learning actually work.
All right, first things first. Let's talk about the very beginning of the process, capturing information. It all starts with your notes. And believe it or not, the choice between pen and paper versus a keyboard is a bigger deal than you might think.
On the surface, it seems like a pretty simple trade-off. Handwriting kind of forces your brain to slow down and work a little harder, to summarize what you're hearing, and that's fantastic for your memory. On the other hand, digital notes are all about speed and efficiency. You can get everything down and find it later with a quick search.
This chart really lays it all out. You can type way faster than you can write, which means your digital notes can end up being almost a word-for-word copy of what was said. But that's not always a good thing. The slowness of writing by hand actually forces you to think, to summarize, and to pull out the most important stuff. Some researchers call this a desirable difficulty. That little bit of a struggle actually helps you learn better.
And here's the real kicker. When it comes to those big, complex ideas, the ones you really need to wrap your head around, writing by hand gives you a whopping 23% advantage in remembering them. It's not just about the words. The actual physical act of forming letters on a page lights up more of your brain, building stronger and more lasting memories.
So the takeaway here isn't that one method is always better. No, it's about being strategic. Think about it. Are you trying to wrestle with something complex, like philosophy or calculus? Go with handwritten notes. But if you're in a history lecture with a ton of dates and names, or you need a searchable archive for a group project, then yeah, digital's your friend.
So we've got our tools, but look, that's really just the first part of the puzzle. Taking notes is one thing, but how do you turn those scribbles and typed words into real, actual understanding? Well, that's where technique comes in.
I love this quote. It gets right to the heart of a powerful learning philosophy from the Nobel Prize-winning physicist Richard Feynman. He basically believed that if you can't explain something simply, you don't really get it. Using complex jargon is often just a way to hide the fact that you don't truly understand.
And this is his method, the Feynman technique. In a nutshell, it's a really elegant 4-step process. First, pick a topic and just do a brain dump. Write out everything you think you know. Then comes the magic part. Try to explain it like you're talking to a 12-year-old. This is where you'll immediately see all the holes in your logic. Step 3 is all about going back and filling those gaps and then refining your explanation until it's so clear that anyone could get it.
Okay, so we have the right tools and a powerful technique, but there's a sort of secret ingredient that makes it all stick. And here's the thing, it's something you're already doing, probably without even realizing it. It's all about what your brain does when you're not even trying to learn.
Get this, scientists figure we spend almost half of our waking hours in what they call an offline state, daydreaming, letting our minds wander, just zoning out. It feels like wasted time, doesn't it? But new research is showing it actually has a critical job to do.
And that job is called memory consolidation. This is basically the process where your brain sorts through all the new information it's taken in, stabilizes it, and decides what's important enough to keep for the long haul. The memories that get consolidated are the ones you can recall later. The rest? Gone.
So you can think of your brain as having two main modes. When you're in online mode, you're like a sponge, actively soaking up new information from the world. But in offline mode, when you're just spacing out, your brain is busy squeezing out the excess water and organizing what's left. The key here is that your brain can't really do both things at the same time. It's either taking in new stuff or organizing what it's already got.
And this isn't just some nice idea. Using tools like an EEG, scientists can actually watch this process happening. They've found that these short little moments of waking rest are when the brain is actively strengthening new memories, kind of like it does when you're asleep. So rest isn't lazy, it's an active, essential part of learning.
Now let's bring this all the way back to that student in the 3-hour lecture. Remember the advice other people gave them? Doodle in the margins. Get up and stretch. Take a quick break. I mean, it all just sounds like common sense advice to stay awake, right? But this is the aha moment. Science is now showing us this is so much more than just a trick to stay focused. Every single one of those little breaks, even just doodling for a minute, is a chance for your brain to flip into that offline mode and start locking in the information you just heard. It's your brain's own built-in save button.
So how do we put this all together? We've got the right tools, a really powerful technique, and the science of how our brain actually learns. Let's build a system out of it.
So here it is, your new playbook for learning. First, be intentional about how you capture information. Pick the right tool for the job. Second, don't just record things, process them. Use that Feynman technique to make sure you really get it. Third, and this is the big one, embrace the power of the pause. Give your brain the downtime it needs to make those memories stick. And finally, look, this isn't one size fits all. Experiment, mix and match these ideas and build a system that works perfectly for you.
At the end of the day, learning isn't about brute force or willpower. It's about working with your brain, not against it. By combining the right tools with the right techniques and just giving your mind the space it needs to do its job, you can really learn anything more effectively. So, the only question left is, what do you want to master first?